Hey, it's Jeff here. Welcome to NEBR, New England Beer Reviews. Today from Vermont, the Harpoon Brewery, and this is Catamount IPA. It is 6.2% alcohol by volume. Before I get into the beer, I'm going to tell you a story, which is why I'm posting this on YouTube. First time I ever had a craft beer was 1987. So I know I've been drinking craft beer longer than some of my viewers may have actually been alive. But the first time I ever had it was 1987. I was a reporter for a small radio station in southern Vermont. And in 1987, or maybe in 86, I forget exactly, it might have been 86, that time frame, the Catamount Brewery first opened its doors. It was Vermont's original microbrewery. And they were in Windsor, Vermont. And so they invited all the local reporters from that market to come on up and check out the new brewery, get a tour, and then to sample a little beer afterward, which at the time was Catamount Pale Ale. So the Catamount Brewery was really one of Vermont's earliest craft breweries, and continued in existence for a period of time through the 90s. And toward the end of the 90s, I think it was around 2000, 2001, that time frame, Harpoon bought them out when they expanded their Boston brewery to Windsor, Vermont. So now Harpoon has a brewery in Boston and Windsor. So anyway, if you tour the Vermont Windsor brewery of Harpoon, they often display some of the old Catamount cans and bottles. I do have one original Catamount bottle in my collection. This was their Oktoberfest. It's the only one I still have in my collection after all these years, so this is more than 30 years old at least. Anyway, when Catamount went out, Harpoon took over, and in the last few months, they've decided, I guess, to kind of pull out the old Catamount IPA and bring it back into circulation. The difference is that this is not like the original one, from what I gather by just reading the label. The label says Catamount Vermont IPA, the modern flagship of Vermont's original craft brewery, soft, pale, and hazy with notes of citrus, zest, and pineapple. So it sounds like it's going to be essentially a New England IPA, where the original Catamount IPA would have been more along lines of like Smutty Nose, the finest kind, or maybe one of the Sierra Nevada IPAs, one of those traditional type IPAs. So, and I've already poured it into the glass, so you can tell just by looking at it right away, it does not look like a traditional IPA. It looks more like the New England IPAs that are so popular these days, the hazy ones that are out there. So it definitely has a pulpy looking, light amber yellow color with a kind of a foamy white head up top. By the way, I'm using an old Catamount glass. This is Ethan Allen Ale was a brewery that was put out was a brew that was put out by Catamount sometime around the late 80s, early 90s. So this glass is also a classic from that time frame. And of course, because it is a favorite glass of mine, as soon as I finish drinking this beer, I am going to wash it, put it away, and put it on the shelf safely. So let's get right into tasting this and checking out the aroma. So the aroma on this smells kind of like the description says. I'm picking up a juicy pineapple character. It's very forward in those juicy hops and citrus. I mean, it has that citrus, pineapple, juicy sort of aroma with the cereal grain buried down below all of that. So, but it's really more hop forward on the nose. So the old one, I can't remember exactly how the old one tasted, but my memory would make me think it was more of an earthy sort of hop bitterness at the time. I don't even quite remember if it was yellow like this. It might have been like a tan, like a light amber color at the time. So let's check out the taste. The body on this is light to medium, but it's very smooth. So I like the smoothness of the body quite a lot. And soft. Well, they did say soft on there. I'm not trying to use these descriptors as my guide necessarily, but it is on the money when it talks about the soft body on this. I'd say it's light to medium, maybe leaning more toward medium. But while the aroma has a really strong citrusy, forward pineapple kind of character, orange maybe even, the flavor doesn't have as much of the juiciness. It's there. You are picking up more of a bitterness. It's still a fruitiness, but it's not like the vibrant nose the flavor is more toned down in that regard. But definitely you are picking up, or I am picking up the different types of fruity characters and the citrus characters in the taste. They're just more subtle than they are on the nose. Hmm. So, I mean, it's a decently balanced New England IPA. It's a nice little beer. I mean, it's not bad. It's very similar to a lot of the other New England IPAs that are out there these days, with those strong citrus attributes and tastes and aromas and so on, and mild, grainy cereal grain type character. Mm. Refreshing to an extent. Lingering fruity finish at the end. So it's a decent little beer. I think I was kind of hoping for more of a traditional one though, because as I said, Catamount was one of the earliest New England-based microbrews, and I mean they came around before. My first brew fest I went to was 1995, I think. Let's see, if I lean over here for a moment, you'll be able to see. Now, this is 96. I do have one from 95, but here's an old tasting glass from a brew fest that happened in New Hampshire in 1996. I think I've got the 95 one up there too, but can't quite reach it from here. So I've been into the craft brew scene for a long, long time. I tend to favor the traditional stuff, the more malt forward stuff. That doesn't mean I don't like these NEIPAs. I know they're extremely popular these days, but I kind of like to go for the traditional IPA when I get that chance. But anyway, it's still a decent beer for what it is. If they're trying to modernize it, they've been successful in modernizing it. If you are someone who, like me, has been drinking craft beer for a long time and might remember the golden age, so to speak, back in the 90s, this might not be what you're hoping for. But it's still a decent, modern sort of NEIPA. So this is from Harpoon Brewery, and this is the Catamount IPA. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again another time.